Zip Parker here, feeling a little bit better than yesterday. So today what I'm going to do is a quick review on what I just finished reading yesterday. I finished Blackscience, the Compendium. What this contains issues 1 through 43. I rated this a 9 out of a 10. It's pretty good. There were times I didn't think I liked it very much, but if you finish it or follow through, it just gets real confusing. So first off, to preface it, let me start what it's about. It's about a man named Grant McCrae who's like a scientist slash inventor, and he works with the crew under a company. And what he's built is something called the Pillar, which is an interdimensional transportation device. The premise behind why he wants to do it is basically it lets you get to other realities or dimensions. This is just like the cover one artwork, or that's the artwork for the first cover. That's the first page. But so we'll get into that in a minute. But basically, every other dimension is a branch off of a choice you make. So let's say for dinner, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have tacos or I'm going to have subs. I'll choose tacos, right? And then in another reality, it branches off where I chose tacos or subs, whatever the choice I just said was. So, and then it follows that from there, in each reality, the taco or the sub reality, each choice you make from there branches off another one. So it's just in picture like a giant tree branch or tree where the branches never stop growing. Or actually what they call it, the onion frequency or the onion layers. So in this book, basically, you know how layers have an onion. So it all starts from one specific center and it branches off into several layers, making this big circle. That's the best I can explain it on short notice. But basically, the whole book is about he goes in there and somebody brings his kids to come check it out, and the pillar's already been tested and verified that it worked. But something happens at the very beginning of the story where it teleports on its own. His kids are there, his crew's there, one of his basically like his boss is there, and it teleports randomly. And when they get to this other world where they're into like massive crazy stuff, it's got aliens, evil robots, all powerful witches, giant centipede monsters or millipedes, beast. It's got a little bit of everything, right? Which you would expect out of a overall all reality type thing. But the premise of it was for him to go to a reality where we've already done something like cured cancer and take the cure back to his world and then share that with all the realities that don't, trying to make each place they visit a better place, including for their own world. But basically, they go through the teleportation, and it turns out somebody has sabotaged the device. The panel's messed up, so it's just teleporting them to random dimensional locations at random increments of time. So you could go somewhere and then it'll have a time of like 4 hours you got to be stuck here. Or it could be 16 days or 2 months. So basically they spend a whole lot of time in places they don't know about or want to be. And it gets way, way bigger than that, but I'm not going to like dive into everything. I'm going to just like start showing you random pages. But because it's a multiversal book, it gets really confusing at points, and I was having trouble following it. But if you stick with it, it gets a lot better, or at least tries to make sense of it. But so much time passes in this book, 43 years. It's got superheroes. I actually just saw a picture of one. It's basically about Grant and his family. His 2 kids go with him. They're Pia McKay and Nate McKay. This woman goes with him that's on his crew. Her name's Rebecca, and he was having an affair with her. So it's really more about, it's a sci-fi family drama is what I would call it, because and rivalry even. So like the guy who's kind of like his boss, his name's Kadir, and he spent all Grant's time there taking credit for his actions. Actually, let me give you a picture of both of them. I can pull that off. So this this guy with the big nose, this is Grant. He doesn't necessarily look like that in every picture, but he's the main character is what I would say. Okay, on the opposite side, this guy here, that is Kadir. He's the one who basically takes credit for everything Grant does. So Grant he grew up with a terrible childhood. I won't get too much into it, but basically he has a repulsion to authority, or whatever. So he wants to make everything better, but he wants to do it himself, and he wants the credit for it, essentially. He just doesn't like being told what to do. I'm going to if I just sit here and start breaking down the entire story or telling you about every character, it'll be much bigger than it needs to. But the art's really cool. It's super trippy. It has vibrant, colorful moments depending on the world they're in. Then it has super dark and scary stuff. Like I said, there's this all-powerful witch. I don't know exactly what her name was. It was like Doxtra or something. But she makes some pretty horrifying things. It's a lot. 43 issues. I read it in I'd say I read it in 4 days, but it was 2 huge chunks. One day I sat there and read 23 issues. Then the next day I read 14, and then I finished it the following day. So I took in a whole lot of information at once, which is typically how I like to read my graphic novels or compendiums. But overall, amazing story, trippy. Like I said, you got superheroes, and then you got all the family drama. His daughter blames him for everything, which he's technically to blame. And I want to say something so much, but it's a huge spoiler, so if you're ever going to read it, I won't say it. But I bought the 3 first graphic novels of it just in a bundle deal on one website. And I kept telling myself I was going to read it. But I knew if I started that first volume, I was probably going to want to finish it all. So once I found out there was a compendium, I think the compendium I paid maybe $40, where each volume, if I went on Amazon and bought it, it was going to cost me $15 to $20. So I was like, yeah, let me just wait, get the compendium, read it all, and then I'll just sell the 3 volumes I have. And so, long story short, very well done. 9 out of 10. The writer is Rick Remender. Yeah. He wrote something else I read, another series called Low. It was 5 volumes. I don't know, maybe 30 issues tops, not even. It was a good book, but it did not compare to this one bit. They're both very sci-fi, world traveling type stuff, but the other one did not touch on this one. This one has emotions of all kinds. It makes you hate characters, makes you love characters. There's even moments you'll want to cry for characters. Super good book. So I'm going to let it go there because this is 8 minutes long. But 9 out of 10, if you like sci-fi, Blackscience Compendium is definitely a book for you. Thanks for watching.